What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all, Monique gets in her own way. Monique is her own worst enemy. Monique is the center of a whole lot of drama and bullshit often. And when stuff hits the fan, she try to make it seem like, oh my God, everybody is in the wrong, everybody's in the wrong, and she had no wrongdoing in anything, right? And here's the thing, man. And I get people was like, well, Lee Daniels and everybody apologized. So it's obvious they did something wrong, right? And that very well may be the case. But a lot of times I look at her and things that she does, and her anger is often misdirected. It's kind of misguided. She got a lot of malicious type ways about her. A lot of like mean-spirited ways about her. She reminds me of a mean-spirited auntie who masks like her manipulative and mean-spirited ways by using words like pudding, calling you sugar, calling you honey, calling you sweetie, all that type of shit, right? But she really is manipulative and really foul in in her approach with a lot of things. And that's who Monique has always kind of been to me for a while. Not always been, but she's been that person since Charlamagne the God disagreed with her and her antics and her reasoning behind wanting to be paid a certain amount by Netflix. And Charlamagne didn't agree with her logic and her reasoning behind it. And, she got upset at that when she went on the Breakfast Club with her husband. She was so upset, she equated Charlamagne to former slaves who would bring the women to the slave masters to do things to them, right? I'm paraphrasing, but she said something along that lines. You're that brother that brought the women to the slave master. All that shit to try to make people feel like, oh my God, Charlamagne is against black women. He's against black women because he doesn't agree with you and your stance, which I feel like is very dangerous to be out here doing. You know what I'm saying? But it's what Monique does often, right? And when I saw her do that to Charlamagne, I said, oh my God, this lady is very manipulative. She often is a gaslighter. That's what she does. And this whole situation with D.L. Hughley is nothing different. It's par for the course for who Monique seems to be as of lately, or since she's married Sidney Hicks, to be honest with you, right? So let me say this. I believe her husband's name is Sidney. Yeah, Mr. Hicks. D.L. Hughley and Monique were set to perform at a comedy club in Detroit, Michigan. D.L. Hughley, they both allegedly signed contracts where they were implicated as the headliner for the show. And I say allegedly because when the contracts came out from both D.L. Hughley and Monique, D.L. Hughley's contract was a day after Monique's, showing that, hey, he was made the headliner the day after whatever contract she received. But it also had memo at the top. So Monique was like, oh my God, he's trying to fool y'all into believing that's a contract. That ain't no contract, that's a memo, so on and so forth. And she came with an alleged contract of hers that read Hicks Media Company or something like that across the top of it, which is her husband's media company, which is a contract that her husband wrote up it's not a contract from the actual venue, the comedy club. It was a contract that her husband wrote up, right? So it's like, that's not a real contract. That's something your husband wants you to have. He feels like you worth, and he drafted that up. But we don't know if this is something that's for them and what they signed, and this is a contract on their behalf. We don't know that. We don't know if there's a contract coming from the actual comedy club because it says Hicks Media Company. It says Hicks something. That's your husband's company. So it's like, nah, that ain't gonna work. But allegedly, they both signed a contract to be headliners for the event. Now, when Monique arrives, she receives wind that, D.L. Hughley has stated that he's not going to perform if he's not the headliner. And from what I'm hearing, D.L. Hughley's name, image, and likeness was used on the tickets and all the promotional events as the marquee person in order to garner the revenue for the comedy club event, right? His name was being pushed as a headliner to get, to draw a crowd, right? And if I'm D.L. Hughley, if my name is being used to draw a crowd, I want full compensation for that. I need to be paid as a headliner. I need to be the headliner and get paid as such. But I also get Monique's point about her being upset if, hey, look, I signed a contract allegedly to be a headliner and you can't go back on that. You go back on that and try to make D.L. Hughley the headliner. That's wrong. That's not okay. I'm not performing or something like that, right? I understand her being upset about that. But why is she upset with D.L. Hughley of all people, right? It ain't like D.L. Hughley said, I ain't going because Monique ain't better than me, and I ain't going because Monique's some bullshit and she ain't funny, and he ain't say nothing like that from what I heard. It was just he felt like he should have been a headliner because his name and image was being pushed on the media pamphlets or the tickets and the promotional stuff for it, say like I should be the headliner, right? But why are you upset with DL Hughley, Monique, for the lineup rearranging when it has everything to do with the promoter, right? It's crazy for me. Like the promoter, I understand. Look, the promoter probably did some shiesty stuff and had both of y'all had you as the headliner first until they secured DL Hughley and made DL Hughley the headliner because maybe he didn't think they were going to secure DL Hughley, right? But when he did, he like, we got to make DL the headliner, and it was what it was. But be mad at the promoter for making that call, not DL Hughley. I say that to say Monique went on stage and she was so upset that DL Hughley didn't want to give up that headliner position. She went on stage attacking DL Hughley, talking about his wife is sucking a coward's DICK. What type of real, dude got a support dog and clowning him and alluding, making some jokes about his sexual orientation and so on and so forth. Talking crazy. I mean, just going out there berating him in front of the audience like they paid to see you tell some goddamn jokes. Not sit up there and talk about DL Hughley and, we didn't want to hear you air your grievances about DL Hughley on stage. Not we, because I wasn't in the crowd, but the fans didn't want to hear that. They didn't pay for that. They paid for jokes. But she went on and made her set. I don't know about a whole set because I didn't see the whole set, but made part of her set going at DL Hughley and attacking him, which is crazy and foul. And again, this is another situation with her anger being misdirected. Because if anybody should be mad, she should be mad at, it should be the promoter because they didn't fulfill the terms and agreements of her contract, right? And allegedly. And she should be mad at the promoter, not DL Hughley. DL Hughley ain't talking bad on your name and went out there and trashed you and say, I ain't promoting behind that trash woman and that trash ass coming. He ain't say nothing like that, right? But I don't get her whole angle, man. But be mad at the promoter for choosing to acquiesce to DL Hughley's request that he be the promoter. Be mad. I mean, that he be the headliner. Be mad at the promoter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, his name was used on all the promo materials, from what I understand, and the schedule for the events showed DL as the headliner. And what's crazy is I'm thinking, her management didn't even question any of this before the event. I'm sure they saw the promotional stuff. They didn't question why DL Hughley's name was plastered all over everything. Is she supposed to be the headliner? They didn't question none of that. That seems sketchy to me, man. It just seems real odd and sketchy, man. And it's another thing, too. Furthermore, when you have certain grievances, even if she was mad at DL and she didn't think DL was right and so on and so forth, there's a way to handle things. Certain things need to be handled behind the scenes instead of being addressed in a public forum for you to humiliate a person, right? Where you disrespecting a man all crazy and all type of hysterically. Keep it professional and keep it private between y'all two individuals. If DL Hughley said something to make you have a problem with him, right, behind closed doors, why take it to the stage and all of that, right? Monique is a person where if she don't get her way, she'll throw a temper tantrum and burn the whole forest down. She'll burn the whole village down because she's upset. And that person is a very dangerous person, and they are liabilities, not assets. Because when they mad, they burn everything down and throw a damn hissy fit and make the whole town disintegrate because they mad and they don't like how something going. She didn't even she didn't have to handle this situation like this at all, right? She's out here getting in her own way. Like I said at the beginning of the video, she has self-destructive behavior. She's a self-destructive person, what I think, man. And what I don't appreciate is how she chose to weaponize black femininity to get black women to try to trash DL Hughley and clown him by perpetuating this narrative that he's against black women because of an issue that he has with her. That's dangerous. I don't like that, man, because we don't like when white women do it. They try to, to weaponize white femininity. And I don't think it's cool for a black woman to try to weaponize black femininity to make it look like DL Hughley hate black women because he got a problem with you and what you did. Come on, fam, get that up out of here. When DL Hughley responded to her and basically responded to her with jokes and threw some shots back at her, now DL Hughley, she coming out here with all this other stuff talking like DL Hughley, I love us for real and all that type of stuff. Like, come on, like what? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. She turned to black women to turn them into vultures against DL because she didn't get her way. She didn't get her way in the situation, so she wanted to turn black women into vultures that attack DL Hughley. That's dangerous behavior, y'all. I don't think it's okay. And what's crazy is this tactic by Monique, it kind of worked in a certain way, because I was watching all these posts on the Shade Room when they were covering the whole situation. I'm looking at it on Instagram, and like I saw black women going at DL Hughley, telling him he doing too much when he told them jokes about Monique when he responded to her. He doing too much when he came back with jokes that had harsh truths in it. When he came back with the contract/memo and all the receipts, trying to clear his name. Now everybody talking about oh, we don't want to see that. Y'all doing too much now. Do we need to see this? Why is this going on? Cut it out. DL, you dragging it now. No, hell no. You had some black women saying DL and other black men agreeing with DL's stance simply hate black women, and that's not true at all, man. So let me get this straight. DL hates black women because he doesn't agree with Monique disrespecting him and his family on stage? Again, telling the crowd in Detroit, Michigan that his wife is sucking a coward's DICK. But your husband out here got you calling him daddy in public in professional settings, right? It's one thing for you to call him that behind closed doors in intimate settings when y'all having sexual relations or whatever, you grown, do what you do. But for him to have you calling him daddy in professional ass settings, like you're a prostitute and he's your pimp, you are out of your fucking mind, Monique. Y'all are crazy, right? That's crazy to me, right? She calling him daddy in public like Bishop Don Juan have his streetwalkers calling him. Like Bishop Don Juan had his streetwalkers on the west side of Chicago on Madison Street calling him daddy. And her husband got her calling him that in public. It's like, this is embarrassing. I wouldn't even want my wife to be calling me that in public. Like, come on, baby, we're not going to do that to you. No, you're a professional woman. We're going to present you in a professional manner. You don't got to talk to me like I'm a pimp and all that. Like, come on, fam. So all that, she's sucking a coward's DICK. Man, your husband out here got you looking crazy and you don't even recognize it, right? She insulting DL Hughley's sexuality and all this and all that, when her husband get them same vibes that she's alluding to DL Hughley having. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what is she talking about, right? What's crazy is I believe her husband, Monique's husband, has put this battery in her back now, right? To get her doing all this and all of that because he co-signed all of this. What loving husband sees his woman acting in destructive behaviors like this and doesn't say, nah, that's not okay, baby. That ain't cool. Don't do that. That's not right. That's not right. That's not cool. Sidney just agreed he want that check cut. So to get that check cut, he'll do whatever. He riding. He want Monique. He putting the battery in her back to go off to get that check and get that bread because he wants some of that pie. He want his hand in that cash pot. That he ain't out like, you got a media company and all that, but he ain't on jokes telling them, he ain't on stage telling them jokes, but he want in on that cash she making, so he putting this battery in her back to act wild and act belligerent, right? But this Sidney put this battery in her back. He put that battery in her back because Monique wasn't acting like this when she was dating Gerald Levert. She wasn't acting all crazy as hell when she was dating Gerald Levert. She wasn't acting like this at all. Right? And I see other people saying, well, DL Hughley, in what world is DL Hughley a headliner over Monique? How was he a headliner? He was the least funniest act on the Kings of Comedy. And I agree with that, right? I agree. DL Hughley was the least funniest act on the Kings of Comedy. But while that may be true, let's not act like Monique was the funniest woman on the Queens of Comedy, because she wasn't. And everybody that's seen the Queens of Comedy knows Samora was the funniest person on Queens of Comedy, hands down. Samora and probably Adele Givens or something. They was better than Monique, right? But Monique had the Parkers going on, so she was more popular. She had a huge fan base because people saw her on television every day, and so they had like a relationship, a personal relationship with, not a personal, but you feel close to a person. You really root for them when you see them on TV every single day. And so because she was on TV, she was giving that headliner-like spot and all of that, but she wasn't funnier than Samora for damn sure, and wasn't funnier than Adele Givens, right? But additionally, people like, oh, well, DL Hughley shouldn't have been a headliner over Monique because he was the least funniest person on Kings of Comedy. Again, that may be true, but DL Hughley has been touring for years recently and has made me laugh plenty of times with a lot of the stuff that he said in interviews and comedy specials and little stuff and jokes he's told and all that on his show. He's made me laugh a ton of times since the Kings of Comedy, right? I remember certain jokes from DL Hughley that I can laugh and laugh about and chuckle about all day long, right? I'm gonna say this right now. This ain't even no hate in my blood. I'm gonna be real. I can't tell you one joke Monique told. I don't remember one joke from Monique over all these years. I don't. Her whole shtick was clowning skinny bitches. And I'm not calling them bitches to be derogatory, but that's what, she would say. All her whole material, her whole shtick was clowning skinny bitches because that's when she was bigger. This is before she lost the weight, right? And all she would talk about was how small a man's penis was and all this and all of that. Outside of the Parkers, the funniest thing I saw from Monique was when she did the Beyonce Crazy in Love performance at the BET Awards. That was the funniest thing I seen outside of the Parkers from Monique. Other than that, nah. I don't remember one joke from Monique, right? And I don't believe for 2 seconds that Monique is a bigger comedy act or comedy draw than DL Hughley. I don't believe that. You got women out here, oh, she bigger. My girl Mo bigger than him. No, she not. Because she got the Parkers? No, she not. Like, for real, she's not. Like, and don't bring up that damn movie Precious because she won an award for a non-comedic role in the first place in that movie. So don't act like that wasn't no comedy type movie either. The movie, oh my God, her depiction was horrible. But it was not no comedy-based movie, man. Again, Monique whole aura rubbed me the wrong way since the Breakfast Club interview. All that calling people sugar and pumpkin in an act to try to disarm you before she starts attacking you and going in on you, I see that shit a mile away. All that I love us for real talk. When DL Hughley responded with facts and brought all type of evidence to prove that what he's saying was not fiction, what he's saying was not made up. She got so mad at DL Hughley for shooting back at her and coming back at her with jokes and coming back with proof. She out there talking about some I love us for real, right? She doing all that I love us for real talk like she's this big advocate for black people and black women. And all that is, y'all, is gaslighting at its finest. She says those things to make it seem like going against her is also going against black people, which is not true. But it tricks black people into thinking that they have to be on her side at all times. This situation ain't that. And I ain't gonna let it be that. I saw people mad at DL Hughley again, talking about why he keep it going on. Why is he keeping it going? Because he kept going back at her, right? And she was even, I guess so shocked he was going back at her with harsh, cold facts that had people looking at her sideways. She up in there, don't believe the hype and all this and all that. Don't believe him. He tried to manipulate y'all. Then she gonna try to call him, I didn't know you were that tender to get upset. Nah, fam. You tried to come at that man personally, try to attack him foully. Now I didn't know you were, now he tender because he responded. Nah, he attacking your ass back with some hard truths. And now it's stinging, and now you talking about something, I didn't know you was that tender. Man, get the hell up out of here, man. Like, it was women on social media. DL Hughley need to stop this. We're over it. We're over it at this point. Nah, hell no. We ain't over nothing. If I was DL Hughley, I would keep clowning her ass to this day. I would keep going on because she tried to shame me publicly, embarrass me and humiliate me publicly. So now I'm going to defend myself and clown her ass publicly too, right? She started all this mess. She started all of this, coming at DL Hughley crazy on stage, attacking him. She started it all, right? And now you got people out here calling DL Hughley corny because he's defending himself. Get the fuck out of here, man. All that, he corny because he defending himself? Nah. DL Hughley, keep defending yourself and keep standing down as a man. And I don't want people to get this twisted. Excuse me. This is not no female bashing. This is not a women bashing channel. I don't bash women on this channel. I support women. I stand with y'all as black women for sure. I stand with black women and support y'all to the utmost on this channel. Y'all know I'm going to speak up when y'all getting done wrong. Y'all getting misused, abused, and all of that. I'm going to speak up on that and speak up for y'all on this channel. This is what I do. I advocate for my people over here, right? But this ain't that situation. And Monique trying to make it and spin it into, like, she trying to spin it like it's one of them situations, man. Monique can be her own worst enemy at times. She can't do basic business without controversy at this point, right? And 50 Cent putting her in the BMF series, I think he put her in BMF. I hope she don't get into that and start going off and going crazy on 50 and all of them and all of that. And 50 got to boot her up out of there. Because you know 50 going to attack her with hard, crazy, malicious type talk. He ain't going to care, right? But yeah, man, I just feel like Monique was so unprofessional and how she handled this whole situation. Getting on stage, attacking DL Hughley when them fans in the crowd, that audience came to see a show. They came to laugh, especially everything the American public has been going through over the years. COVID pandemic, rent then went up sky high. Everything, inflation, everything is going on. Stuff just costs so much money. People done lost their jobs. People's whole livelihoods have changed. We got these tragedies going on. Black folks getting shot up. You got the little kids getting shot up. All this type of stuff going on in the world. People trying to get distracted from that by going to comedy clubs and hearing good jokes. But Monique ain't coming there with no jokes. She came on there trying to come at D.L. Hughley, ranting about D.L. Hughley. Don't nobody want to hear that. Nobody want to hear that, man. They paid their money in this crazy economy. Gas super damn high. They drove and paid all that money to try to come see jokes. Not about you attacking D.L. Hughley, man. Like, come on, man. I just feel like the audience was the loser in that situation. And I feel like Monique has got to grow up in a lot of senses. Like, she's got to do way better. This is just like, she doing a whole lot of gaslighting and a whole lot of just wild, just over the top, obnoxious type. She comes across as a very obnoxious person. I'm not gonna lie, and it's very off-putting. Her energy is all. I couldn't even be around somebody like that, man. Like that energy is just not cool. It's not. I couldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't be for me at all. And that's just me, y'all. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.